Hey everyone, it's me Joji, and today we're going to be looking at a new version of an old deck. So let's go ahead and take a look what this deck is going to look like in Sword and Shield. We are talking about the Mewtwo Mew GX deck. Now these Mew boxes are going to get a nice new fresh look with this new expansion coming out. Instead of running the usual Welder box that we're doing, we're going to be running a pure Psychic box. So 2 copies of Trevenant and Dusknoir GX. We're going to be using that Night Watch to disrupt their hands by moving 2 of them back into their deck and shuffling them and still doing 150 damage. Pale Moon is not going to be used as much, but it's there if we need to force them into a switch. Next up we have, there we go, 2 and 3 Inkay and Malamar line. So this, as I said, is going to be a Psychic based deck. We're not going to be using any Aurora, any of the rainbows, or any fire, so this is pure Psychic. So we're going to be using Malamar to essentially move our Psychic energies onto our Mews, and potentially any of the other GX Pokemon that we'll see in this deck later. Alright, so then we have a single Gengar and Mimikyu. This one's probably going to be used for Poltergeist more often, doing the 50 times however many trainer cards they have in their hands. It's going to be really great for a turn 2 attack, just because they wouldn't have been able to play any of their supporters. Horror House GX is going to be another great optional GX move to use, just because it stops them from doing anything for a turn or so, unless they've been set up. Then we have Latios GX. Of course, this is to negate any attacks from Tag Team Pokemon, and Tag Team Pokemon are definitely going to be still in the game, so this is going to help with avoiding any pesky GX tag teams that we'll see. We're also running an Iguanodel GX. We're going to be using obviously the Venom Shot, because sometimes we're going to want to hit things on their bench instead of their active, just to knock out maybe a Cincino or another Malamar, who knows, but that Venom Shot's going to be helpful, and we don't have to worry so much about discarding the 2 energies because we do have the Malamars to bring them back. We're also running a Dragonite. Now this obviously is for Sky Judgment. 270 damage, discard 3 energies. Again, we have Malamars, so not too big of an issue using Sky Judgment GX. If we wanted to, we can use Mock Delivery and get 10 cards into our hands. That's better reserved for a turn 1 if we need to. We're also running a Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff GX. Now this again is to hit those GX Pokemon or GX heavy decks. No, Pikarom is still going to be having a lot of GX Pokemon in it, so Jumping Balloon is going to do a lot of damage. We're running 2 copies of Dedenne. I know Professor's Research just came out and it's a lot better than the Dedennes, trust me, but sometimes you do need to use 2 Dedennes for some reason, or use a Professor Research and a Dedenne. So, who knows? I might switch these out for just another 2 Professor's Research cards, but for now we'll keep them in the deck. Then we're running a single Absol. Now this, obviously, it's being used for its retreat cost increase ability. It's really crazy how well this card is going to be used in a lot of decks now that we have Air Balloon and Skateboard, and there's a bunch of other switch options, so like Mallanna and pretty much anything else. So there's a lot of options for people to use their hard retreats now with Air Balloon, like I said, a Skateboard. This is going to help avoid them using those things and make it a little bit harder for them to play their combos. Now, let's go ahead and move on to trainer cards. We have 2 copies of Professor's Research. As I said, I might add 2 more in turn of the Dedennes, but I'm still not sure. I haven't play tested this too much, but it seems like 2 is more than enough. If you add them all together, 4 of these, you're going to be discarding 28 cards in total, and that's a lot of cards for one game, essentially. So I think 14 discards is enough. Alright, then we have 2 copies of Marnie. Marnie is going to be essential for pretty much every single deck going forward. You're going to need Marnies no matter what. It's a great card. It doesn't matter if you have more cards. If you know that they've gotten good cards from some draws or something, you can use these and disrupt their combos. It's really, really great. Add these no matter what. At least 2. We are then moving on to 2 copies of Guzman Hala. Now, you're probably wondering, if this is a pure Psychic deck, why would you need to get any special energies? Now, it's not for special energies. It's for our Pokemon tools and our Chaotic Swell stadiums. That's pretty much what this is used for. Also, you get to discard cards, so we can discard any of our other GX Pokemon to augment our Mewtwo's. So, that's why it's there, not for the special energies. Although we could add Aurora energies if we wanted to maybe use some other attack. Alright, moving forward, we have 2 copies of, I think it's only 2. Yeah, only 2 copies of Mallanna. That's all you really need. There are some other switch cards in here, and as I said, hard retreating is going to be something we're going to be doing a lot entering Sword and Shield, so 2 of these is enough, and plus the discard, again, really helpful for the stack. And it also heals, so it's a great way to avoid like tag purges and things like that. Alright, moving on to our item cards. We're running 4 copies of Quick Ball. Now, Quick Ball is one of the best cards right now, and if you're using Cherish Balls, I'd suggest switching completely to this or just augmenting your deck with some of these. So, you could use these for grabbing any of your GX Pokemon and discarding Psychic Energies or another GX Pokemon. So, really great card. It's going to be a really, really important. I think going forward for the rest of this year and probably until the next, it's going to be very important for a lot of decks. We're also running 4 copies of Mysterious Treasure. Now, we already have our Quick Balls, but Mysterious Treasure lets us pull our Malamars. That's really all it's going to be used for, getting our Malamars, to be honest. Because this lets you pull Psychic and Dragon, regardless if it's a basic or anything else. And again, it lets you discard, so discarding GX or Psychic Energy. Really, really great, helpful tool there to start your combos. We're then running 4 copies of Switch. Now, as I said, we are going to be doing a lot of hard retreating, so this is just to augment the times when they're playing an Absol and we need to just use one of these cards instead. Pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes you're going to need to use switches instead. We then have too many cards here. 1, 2 copies of Cherish Ball. Now, the reason we're only running 2, again, is because sometimes we don't want to discard a card. Sometimes we just want to grab a GX Pokemon regardless. So, and also, to be honest, you can use this to grab the Naganadel, because you only can use Mysterious Treasure or Cherish Balls to grab Naganadel, it being a non-basic Pokemon. So, it's there for the Naganadel and, of course, any of the other GX Pokemon. Then we have, I believe, 2 copies of Energy Spinner. So, Energy Spinner, if you're going second, grab a bunch of energies and then discard them using whatever thing you need to. Maybe some Quick Balls, Mysterious Treasures, or the Professor's Research. And then you can go ahead and put them back on using Malamar later, or just attach one of those single 3 that you pulled. So, really great. Then we have 1 copy of Reset Stamp. Now this is just to annoy them a bit, especially when you get to late game and you're using Night Watch or Marnie. This is going to be really helpful. So go ahead and Reset Stamp them down to what, maybe 2. Use Night Watch. They have no hand, they're going to be drawing 1 card. It's going to put them at a huge disadvantage. Then we have, I believe, 2 copies of Tag Call. I don't know if I switched the order around, but Tag Call is obviously for Guzman Halas, Malannas, Mewtwo's, Dusknoirs, and our Mimikyus. And I guess Megalopunnia as well. So, really great card, really helpful. Honestly, it's not needed, but I do want to be able to grab Guzman Halas and Mallows when I need to. So, running 2 at least. Alright, then we have 2 copies of Air Balloon. As I said before, hard retreating is going to be really huge in this next meta. And this reduction of 2 is going to be helpful for a lot of things in this deck. That is, I think, essentially a free retreat cost for Gengar, Mewtwo, Megalopunny, and I think Dedenne. Actually, I think pretty much everything except for the Dragonite, the Ganondorf, which we'll never play, and Dusknoir, I think, has a 3 retreat cost. So attach this to pretty much your Mewtwo's. You want to have 2 Mewtwo's at a time, both of them having air balloons. That way they can switch back and forth if you'd like. We're also running 2 big charms. So this is the other option. Instead of using air balloons, you can use big charms on the Mewtwo's, essentially giving them 300 health, or even the Dusknoirs, also 300. And you can implement this on the Latios for 200, make it a little bit harder to knock it out if you wanted to. The Megalopunny, it gives it 270, but I prefer using it for pretty much these guys right here. Definitely want to give them a lot of HP, up there with, Wailord and whatnot. So, really helpful cards. That's pretty much it. Other than that, we're running 2 Chaotic Swells. We don't want to get power planted, so use 2 of these. Most of the time they're going to be running 4, so I think 2 is enough. There's not too many decks running more than 2 copies of Power Plant nowadays, but still worth using. Now, onto the energy. We're running a total of 9 energies here. So, again, as I said, this whole deck is a Psychic-based deck. There is no special energies, no fire energies. This is a Psychic engine. So, 9 copies of energy. So that is pretty much the deck here. It's a new version of MewBox using some new cards like Professor's Research and Big Charm and Air Balloon and Quick Balls. It's just to augment that discard, really. It's going to be super interesting how this plays out. It's definitely going to evolve. There are some Psychic Pokemon like in Dindy actually that's the only one I can think of right now, but those aren't that great. I know Indeedee has a great ability, and it doesn't get affected by a power plant, so it's a helpful 20 HP health. You could definitely make that into 140 with Mallanna, but altogether, its attack isn't that great. So we'll see. Maybe in VMAX Rising, there's going to be some better Psychic Pokemon. But for now, I think we're going to stick with this pretty much as our new MewBox. So let me know what you guys think. Is there some way that we can make this a bit better, or even way better if you have an amazing idea? Let me know down in the comments. And let me know if you have any other deck ideas. I know I've gone over the Zacian Melmetal, I've gone over the Lapras VMAX, and now this MewBox. Is there any other decks you'd like to see me go over or build? Let me know down in the comments as well. But yeah, I'm not sure if I want to run this Psychic MewBox over the Zacian Melmetal one. I've tested the Zacian Melmetal one this past weekend, and it did really well against some people. But this guy, I've played MewBox before in the previous rotation, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm not sure about how to run the Psychic Mew one, so I definitely needed some practice before trying it out. As always, definitely try it out before you actually play in a competition, because practice makes perfect, and you definitely want to practice with some of these combo heavy decks. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Are you going to build this? Are you not going to build this? What's a better way of doing this deck? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ring that bell so you can get updates on more decks and Pokemon unboxings. And as always, thanks for watching.